Okay, we're live, right? We're live, guys? Great. Hi, everyone. Mike Filsame here. I'm here with our guest, Sean Wander. We're going to be going over how to create a better offer. It's one of the things that I've been successful with, and so has some of the partners that I've worked on many projects with over the years. And one of the things we want to tell you right now is that copywriting has nothing to do with a good offer. A good offer simply starts with a good frame and a good positioning, and what copy does is it just supports the offer in the frame. So, I'll give you a little example. We're working on something here in the company about creating a report for people on how to get joint venture partners. So our copywriter wrote a very compelling sales letter on why getting joint venture partners is good for your business. And when Andy Jenkins and I looked at it, we said, tell us something we don't know. Having sales copy that was completely based on telling everybody all the features of joint ventures and affiliates is not going to get somebody to buy a product on joint ventures and affiliate marketing. The pain point, creating the frame around the pain point is what's key. And we realized that we have to say to people, why is it that if you know that joint ventures and affiliate marketing works and you've seen launches create millions of dollars for people, why don't you have hundreds of joint venture partners and affiliates chasing you to promote your products as opposed to the other way around? So that's the hook and the framing of an offer, and then the sales copy supports that. So we're gonna go over a presentation today that's gonna have two parts. I'm gonna do the first part, and Sean is gonna do the second part. So just want to let you know that we're going to be running about 1 hour, and then we'll do some Q&A. We're going to be shutting the chat mode off so that you guys can concentrate all on the great content that we have here. So we're going to jump right in. I'm going to start the presentation, and again, you'll see in the Hangout, you see Sean there as well. He's muted his microphone so that it doesn't take over what you're seeing right here. So if you guys are excited to get started, I'm excited to start presenting for you. So let me just take 2 seconds here to load up my little PowerPoint. And we'll go full screen and we'll press play right there. Okay, so here's what we have here. Your offer. What we're going to go over are the critical elements of a no-fail offer that you need to know before you even write your first words of copy. We got any problems there, Dave? We're all good? Sorry about that, guys. So moving on here. Okay, here's a fundamental note. If you're not selling your product, or you're doing affiliate marketing, or your emails aren't being opened, it's not because of your product, it's because you have a bad offer. You have a bad message. So let's understand something. Anything can be sold, and sold well. And when I say that, I mean anything. When you have a good offer. And a good offer can sell crap. Now I know I'm live, and I know I may be offending some people, but I'm going to go out and give some names here of some examples of what I felt over the years is a great case study of that. You look at a guy like Kevin Trudeau, recently, having issues with the FTC for his claims and things. In my opinion, Don Lupree and may his soul rest in peace, and Kevin Trudeau are great examples of a good offer that can sell a bad product. So it's not the product. The product is not going to sell itself. A good offer is going to sell anything. So if you look at guys that look at any type of scam or con, these guys are selling the worst products in the world. Why are they successful? They're successful because they had a good offer. Now what happens is you get a lot of refunds, you get a lot of complaints, you get on the radar of the FTC, and you're going to get yourself in trouble with the Attorney General, the Better Business Bureau example, for example. So what happens when you have a good offer? We'll go back to the slides here. Okay, when you have a good offer combined with a good product, that's what you guys have. When you have a good offer and a good product, then you can take over the world. So it's not your lack of JVs that you're getting, it's your offer. And when you have a winning offer, the winning offer gets traffic and it gets JVs, and your ads convert very well because it can't fail. And it doesn't work the other way around. So if you went out and you created the world's best software, or you've created the world's best WordPress plugin, or you've created a great information product, or some type of home study course, or a way to lose weight, and people aren't paying attention to you, it's not because you have a bad product. And I've seen so many people create a good product and then say, well, people just didn't want it. And I had a good copywriter write my copy and it didn't work. No, it was all about the positioning and the framing of the offer, and then the copy that supports that. So let's move on here. Okay. The first thing, if you remember what I said before, is you have to have the why. And the why goes based on the pain. What is the key pain problem my customer has, and how does my product or service solve the problem? Okay, so let's go back to an information product on affiliate marketing and joint ventures. How to get joint ventures partners to love you and promote you. Okay, if I don't first define the key pain problem that people have, then I can't sell them on all the benefits of getting JV partners. JV partners can send you traffic, they can build your list. But if I know that the pain problem is that people can't get JV partners, and they're spending their day contacting people on Facebook and sending emails and going to events and handing out their business card, and nobody wants to create their product, well then now when I'm creating my offer for a product like that, I know I have to focus on that pain and solve it. So what is the mass desire that motivates your customer or your market? Those are some of the places where you want to start. Okay, moving on. Next, you want to identify your ideal customer. You know, my business partner Andy talks about the 4 circumstances of a customer. But the ideal customers are your low-hanging fruit. They're in the most pain, so don't focus on a mass audience at this time. Your first message needs to first focus on the ideal customer. So Sassy, you can come to my face here. I'll give you an example. What you guys are watching us do this presentation, this jam session we're doing right now, is with Webinar Jam. We were creating the sales offer, the video at the sales page at Webinar Jam for this product. We had many different angles. Now the copy, the features, the benefits, all those things are all going to support the main hook. But when we first started, many of the talks went around talking to people about why you should be doing webinars, how webinars are good for your business and everything. And Andy and I said around the room, stop, we're wasting our time. This is going to the worst circumstance, and we're finding somebody that doesn't know about webinars, and we're trying to teach them to use webinars, and now teach them to use our product. So we said, let's not go after that person, let's go after our ideal customer. Let's go after the person that's already using GoToWebinar. And once we made that switch, we realized that we didn't have to tell people why they need to be doing webinars in their business. We could focus on the pain that that customer was having, and that's paying $499 a month to GoToWebinar and a max capacity of 1,000 people. And people that could use Google Hangouts, but they didn't have a front-end marketing machine. So we simply focused on that customer. What was their pain point? High price, low attendees, alternative Google Hangouts, unlimited attendees, but no front-end marketing machine. We fixed the pain by eliminating the price point and giving all of the features that the two have combined and even more, and we then were able to focus on our ideal customer, and that's somebody that already understands our software. All right, so we don't want to spend our time convincing somebody why they should be using webinars when in this day and age, many people already understand what a webinar is. So that's our target market. Let's go back to the slides. All right, the where. You need to find out where your ideal customer can be reached and how to reach them. So market research allows you to reach them via advertising from Facebook and things like that, doing SEO, social media, keywords, their interests, their likes, what forums they're in, what affiliates have a reach to that market, what JV partners already. So I would go out to somebody that like Alex Mondosian or Ted Wasco. Alex Mondosian has Hangout Marketing Challenge, and Ted Wasco has Hangouts Made Easy. So if I was to go after people that already have an audience, I want to go after people like that. Furthermore, traffic networks that can reach those types of people. So let me give you an example. One of these things where we say Facebook advertising, targeting. What I would do is I would go to GoToWebinars page and see how many people have liked them, how many people have liked every type of webinar software there is out there or anything with webinar training, and I'll create Facebook ads that are targeted to those people. That's the lowest hanging fruit. Yes, I can go to information marketers. Some of those people would love to use webinars and are already using it in their business. Some of them haven't used webinars and they're not sold. So I'll eventually get to them. But the low-hanging fruit is obviously going after people that are GoToWebinar customers, and I can get that by simply going to Facebook and tagging people that like their page. So that's an example of the where. The next, we want to decide on the sales medium. How are we going to sell the product once we decide which is the best offer? And we try to figure out what's the best way to reach the customer based on their demographic. So we would test offer mediums, and what I mean by mediums, those are things, are we going to do a sales letter, a VSL, which is a video sales letter, a live webinar, which is what we're doing right now, an automated webinar, a teleseminar where we're just getting people on the phone. That works well for MLM with people that aren't tech savvy. Or we're going to do a hangout or a jam session like we're doing right now. Or we're going to do a phone sale, a two-step sales process by maybe giving away a free product and then telling people to call for more information. We can give a free CD, and then after they buy the CD, we can do an upsell. We can do a $7 report, which is known as a front-end, back-end model. All right, you figure this out based on your target market, and you craft the offer based on those several factors. You look at their how the little typo there, how the current competition's process is currently being used. Why reinvent the wheel? If you're going to a market where the products are already selling, use the sales medium that the current competition is using. These other things based on the age of the customer, how tech savvy they are, their gender, their income as well, are going to help determine what's the best way to communicate with those people. Okay, moving on. Crafting your message here, you want to base your message on a story. And what is the story based on? The story is based on your secret sauce. That is the key. You have to say, what is the secret sauce that we have, and what is the story that creates that? So if you can, right now, take a screenshot of the screen, because these are proven story archetypes that are used in marketing. And what they are things like the reluctant hero. Okay, that's somebody, the reluctant hero, the reluctant guru. Look, I never wanted to do this. What ended up happening is, I created a software and a way to check out how to do better advertising on Facebook, and the next thing you know, because I was this underground guy, everybody started asking me to speak at events, and I saw a lot of other people giving wrong information, that I decided to go out and share what I was learning, but I never wanted to go out and be a guru. The next is the hidden secret until now. That's the famous acai berry, or the famous high antioxidant fruit that has been found in the middle of the Amazon in South America. And until now, nobody has known some of these things. The accidental discovery, that's kind of like the Post-it note. They were trying to create a glue that would last forever, and they ended up having something that didn't work. And they said, hey, we can probably use this as a Post-it note. The fluke chance happening, years of trial, Colonel Sanders type stories, the disciple story. I worked for this gentleman for years, and Napoleon Hill is a great disciple story. The monk journey. A good friend of mine, Russ Whitney, recently went on one of those life journeys, and he went to India, all over the world, trying to find out the meaning of life and the meaning of happiness. I went on a journey to find out all this information. The unrelated accidental talent, wax on, wax off. Meaning, when I was in the military, what I learned about blah, 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 I never thought that would apply, but when I was in my business, I realized that the foundations that we found about creating a system, a buddy system, also worked with accountability in my coaching program. So because I had the base in the military, I've applied it to my coaching program. So that's an example of an unrelated accidental talent. The converted captive, meaning I was the enemy and I've changed my ways, right? The reason why I have a successful email autoresponder company is because, believe it or not, back in the day, I used to be a spammer. Yeah, I know, you hate me. And this isn't me, guys. I'm giving an example of a story like this. But being able to get out 15 million emails a day, and then so many people in that community actually came to me to figure out how to get email, I figured out the system. Well, I couldn't take it anymore. I knew what I was doing was bad. And what I've decided to do is take that knowledge that I had and put it into a legitimate service like this email software service platform that I have, and that's why we're the best, right? So that's, I was the enemy, I've changed my ways. You know, when I look at something like that is the Avatar movie, Dances with Wolves, The Last Samurai, right? I was the enemy, but I've changed my ways, now I sympathize. The Mr. X, I'm sick and tired, I'm not going to take it anymore, my solution is your solution. Something like the my solution is your solution is, I looked for different webinar softwares out there to do what I needed, but I couldn't find anything that did exactly what I did. So I went out and I created Evergreen Business System to work for me based on the needs that I had, and now that I have that solution, I also created something like that for you. So that's the secret sauce, and those are story archetypes for the secret sauce. So let's move on. All right. Next is your core statement, okay? This is something that we're going to go over in a little more detail in a little while, but what you see on the left side is related to your product, and what you see on the right side is related to the consumer. So on the left side, you have to put things down like the solution, the benefit, your secret sauce, or your USP, or as we're going to say later, your preeminent distinction, your story, and your premise. And the reason why we're going to go into preeminent distinction is because everybody used to tell you that you had to write everything about your product as your USP. It goes in your headline, and I disagree with that. Your USP, your unique selling position, can change because competition catches up with you. So you need to know what your current unique selling position is, and it goes in your offer, but it's not always what leads your headline, all right? But what is that secret sauce? You should know what separates you from the competition. Your story we went over, and the premise, okay? So for some reason these things aren't lining up perfectly because the font sizes are a little different here when we change from Keynote to Mac. But so the solution, when we go to the right side, we spoke earlier, that's the solution to the pain, and that equals the benefit. So your product has a solution to the pain, and it gives a benefit. But now we go to the next line, and we have something called the benefit on the product, and that gives, on the right side, to the consumer the benefit of the benefit. So like what I like to talk about, we can go to me here, Sassy, is what I like to refer to as the proactive skincare solution for acne. So proactive has its secret sauce. It has its active ingredient. So what's the benefit of this active ingredient? As we see over here, the solution to the pain is the benefit. So the main benefit is that it cures your acne. So you will have to look at your product and see what is the benefit. But then we move this benefit right over to here. Now the benefit, there's a benefit to the benefit. So what does that mean? The benefit to the benefit means when I have acne, the benefit of getting rid of my acne means that if I'm a young girl and I'm 16, well, I'm going to get asked to the prom. And if it's a guy who had zits and whiteheads and pimples on his nose, he's going to have the confidence to ask a girl to the prom, and most likely she'll say yes. If you're a salesperson and you're doing jewelry sales and you're trying to show somebody a ring and you have whiteheads on your face and oil and skin, it's going to affect your confidence, because every time somebody looks up at you, you're going to say to yourself, I wonder if they're looking at my zits, right? And it's going to affect your income. So getting rid of acne is going to give confidence, and it will increase your sales, give you more confidence. You can maybe get a raise and increase in management. So proactive, the main benefit is that it cures acne. But what is the benefit to the benefit? That's what has to be relayed to the customer. So you got to look at your product or your emails or your affiliate marketing and talk about, if I'm going to talk about the benefit of a product, that's great, but what is the benefit of the benefit, right? How does that affect somebody in their life, right? So let's moving back to the slides here. The secret sauce, the USP, that's the active ingredient. The why and the how you came across that. And how do you talk about that? You talk about that by telling a story, and the story allows you to use elements of proof. That's where you will bring in The proof elements, how it worked for different people, has worked for you, worked for your students, or worked for your customers, or whatever the case. And then finally, all of these things, when you put them in and you're talking about them with anybody that you're brainstorming, that's going to give you a premise, and the following on the right side allows you to create a promise of the premise. So on the right side, the pain, the benefit, the benefit of the benefit, the active ingredient, and the proof gives you a promise that you can talk about the premise. So that the promise of the premise would be something like, if you have acne, I'm going to show you how, because of our active ingredient, that we found something in a plant that has never been used before, and we have a process that allows us to patent it, and nobody else has this, and it doesn't cause dry skin and all these different things, allows you to get cure your acne in less time, less painful, to allow you to get all the benefits of not having acne. Here's the proof of what we had, and that's what our product will do for you. So by going through this exercise, guys, this allows you to be able to come up with the frame, the starting point, the core elements to a no-fail offer starts here. Gary Halbert always told us, start with the features and the bullets, and you write your bullets out, and then you write copy to support that. But if you don't go through an exercise like this and identify the main pain, the why the customer is in pain and how your product solves it, that's where you're going to run into a little trouble. So moving on. A couple of things that you want to do in your marketing. You want to have, you want to use curiosity, all right? And when you use curiosity, you want to use it, I'm going to read this here. Curiosity is based on juxtaposition, and when applied with incongruent juxtaposition, you have the ultimate opportunity to make your prospect curious enough so you can get their attention. So what we have here is an image of an ashtray with a sticker that says no smoking. That's called an incongruent juxtaposition. And to juxtapose simply means to put something next to something. And as soon as something is incongruent, that is a pattern interrupt. Our brains are different than every other mammal on this planet. And we have the ability to make a conclusion. And everything that we do in life that gets tuned out by our subconscious is when something is exactly the way it's supposed to be. Okay? If you were driving and you saw a traffic light go from red to blue instead of green, you would, or from red to pink, or something like that, your mind would see something different completely. You wouldn't know whether to stop, go, pull over, or get into an accident. Okay? If you're just going from red to green, or from green to yellow to red in your marketing with your copy and your headlines, then you're basically going to be marketing to people, and they're going to be reading your messages like zombies. So you have to use curiosity. So let's talk about some other things, why curiosity works and how you use it. There's something called the Zeigarnik effect, and what that means is that people need to have things finished. You can read about the Zeigarnik effect. It was a lady. She's in Wikipedia. Talks about the study. But the Zeigarnik effect means that people like to keep things in order before they release them from their brains. So the way you do this is you open loops in your marketing, and you can have loops within a loops. Loops within loops. Loops explain and tease the future outcome first. Then you proceed to explain how you get there. So I'll give you an example. You know, it wasn't always where I had a very successful online company. I'm going to show you how my company does X, Y, Z, and how I got there, and how this can work for you. But first, let me explain where I was 10 years ago. You see, 10 years ago, I had just filed bankruptcy, and I was blah, 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 blah. So what I've done is I've just opened a loop, and I said I'm going to explain something to you in the future, but first let me explain how we got there. Okay? That right there is a major arc loop. You can have loops within loops. The big reveal loop is the how did we get here. The flashback loop, the day everything changed loop. So let me talk to you about the time when I was in the car dealership. So I want to talk to you about the success that we're having now, but I want to talk to you about the day that everything changed for me. I was in the car dealership, the owner of the dealership came in, etc., etc. That's my story. And the cliffhanger, to bridge to the next video, if you're doing a 3-part product launch, you want to be able to know how you can bridge and not frustrate the customer, but leave them wanting more. And that's using a cliffhanger. Okay? So, critical elements in a story. I'm not sure if this is easy to see. What we have here is something that we call framing, or people refer to it as pre-framing. Okay, and what you're seeing here is Bruce Willis in the movie Pulp Fiction, and in the bed is Fabienne. I think that was her name. And she's very sad, and he's frustrated, and he's putting his shoes on to go get his father's watch. Now, if you guys remember that story, in Pulp Fiction, he came out of the bathroom. He says, "Fabienne, do you know where my father's watch is? You picked it up, right?" And she said, "Yes, it's on the shelf." And he went over and he said, "It's not there. Where is it?" And then he started freaking out. "You got the watch?" I think I did." "What do you mean you think you did? You either you did or you didn't. Where's my dad's watch?" And he's freaking out over this thing, and he's yelling at her. And the truth is, none of this would have mattered. You would not have been able to understand why Bruce Willis was going to leave her right now when he can take off with all the money, and instead of going back into the lion's den and going back to people that were at his house with guns waiting for him, and he knew it, and he still entered his house to go back and get that watch. Now, if Quentin Tarantino didn't pre-frame this scene earlier in the movie by having Bruce Willis wake up and look right at the camera with the boxing gloves on just before he was about to go into a boxing match, earlier in the movie we saw Christopher Walken tell a story about how his granddad had this watch in World War I. And it was when he came back from World War I, he gave it to his grandfather. His great-granddad gave it to his grandfather in World War II, and his grandfather was shot down by the Japanese, and he said to one of the Japanese soldier, "Hey, look, I know I'm going to die here, but when the war is over, can you take this watch and give it to my son?" And that was Bruce Willis's dad. And Bruce Willis's dad got that watch from the Japanese soldier at the end of the war. He traveled to the United States to give it to him. His grandfather gave that son to Bruce Willis's dad, and he went to Vietnam. And in Vietnam, Bruce Willis's father knew that if they got this watch, that he could never give it to his son, as it was his birthright. And as he was dying of dysentery, he gave the watch to Christopher Walken. And Christopher Walken says, if you remember, why is this watch so important? And I'm going to joke here. It's because this watch has been up somebody's ass for 5 years, okay? Little chuckle, but basically, if you remember the scene, Christopher Walken is talking about how his dad was dying of dysentery because he had the watch up his butt, that he put it up his because he knew that if the Japanese got their hands on this, he'd never be able to give it to his birthright. Christopher Walken leaves Vietnam, the war is over, and he comes to Bruce Willis at the age of 6 and hands him that watch. Now, later on in the movie, we understand when Bruce Willis has to go back in where John Travolta is waiting for a gun in his apartment for him so he could get his watch back. We knew that so many people made so many sacrifices to get that watch. If we didn't have that scene in the movie, then it wouldn't have made sense. We would have said, I think it was a little far-fetched that, because it was just a watch, it was his father's watch, he went back, into the lion's den. Great movie, but that was far-fetched. So we need to understand that there are certain things that are not going to make sense to our customer unless we can create a pre-frame. And we do that by creating loops. I'm going to talk to you about why my Webinar Jam software can help you. But let me first tell you about this horrible situation that I had when I recently did a Google Hangout, right? So I've created a frame, and I'm going to pre-frame it with a horror story. All right, so we'll move back to the slides. We're almost done here, guys. So offers are very, very different than sales copy. Your sales copy is always going to be the same, and it supports the offer. But you want to test different offers, different hooks, and different angles. When we did Webinar Jam, I shot 5 different videos which tested the front end, the first 30 seconds framing, and then the rest of the video did a blur, and all of the features and benefits were all the same. The features and benefits never change. How I introduce the product is the offer and the framing. So the big mistake that people do is they create a landing page, and then they start multivariate testing headlines, and should the order button be a Belcher button or a green button, and if the offer is not working, you cannot optimize something that is at 0.3% conversion and get that to a 4% conversion. And as we say here in the first slide, if you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. Okay? Split testing losers will never make them winners. So guys, circle that or write that down. right now. If you're doing split testing on, if you go out and something is not working, don't say, well, let's start split testing to improve it. No, you have to change the offer. Test completely different offers and the elements of the offer, and then when you find a winner, when you have a winner, then and only then do you optimize that winning offer by doing multivariable testing on the headline and page elements. So the biggest mistake we see people make is they go out and they start split testing things and they try to improve their 1.2% conversion to a 1.4% conversion. You will never go from 1.2% conversion to a 4% conversion by split testing that particular offer. You have to change the offer. Test completely different offers on the stuff that we went over here, and that's going to help you. So now, this is the midway session, right at the 30-minute mark of this jam session here, and I'm going to recap it again. If the stuff that you're doing is not working, if you're not selling, it's not because of your product. If you have a great product and it's not selling, it's because you have a bad offer. Remember what we told you. A good offer can sell anything, even crap. Anything can be sold and sold well if the offer is right. If you look at anything on the television show Pawn Stars, P-A-W-N, where they have the pawn shops, or Antique Roadshow, the reason why somebody goes in and they don't know what their product is worth is because the guy creates a frame around it. Yeah, this little jewelry box was in my mother's house in the basement. She got it from her great-grandmother. We don't know what it's worth. And then the guy says, you know, it's very interesting. This was actually created in France, and it was created, you know, for the Queen of France back in the 1700s or whatever, right? And he tells this story. The interesting thing is, if you look on the bottom here, he signed it in gold, and he says number 4. And guess what? Only 5 of these have ever been created. 3 of them can't be found, and 1 of them is being kept right now in the, you know, the Louvre Museum in France. And this is the only second one that we know right now. And because of that, this product is worth, now you guys can say it, you can think, something like that, if there's one in the Louvre Museum, has to be worth maybe $1 million, right? Why did that piece of wood suddenly become very valuable? Because we gave it a frame and now we understand, right? So we need to understand, we need to sell and create those types of frames for our product. So if you have a good product and it's not selling, what is it? It's your offer, okay? And when you have a good offer, the JV partners will come looking for you. Any type of traffic that you throw at it will win, and then you can only improve from there and get even better. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to now turn this over to Sean, and Sean's going to take over the presentation here. And what I want to show you is a way that you can get all of this stuff out of your head without having to worry about the format of the exercise. And okay, Sean, if you're on, I'm going to put a little earphone on so I can hear you.
Hi, everybody, and glad to be here, obviously sharing the stage with Mike. So much to cover, and please feel free to type in the chat. It's not publicly viewable, but we are seeing your comments and notes, so if you have questions, we are able to answer them. So just, well, I know we're moving quickly, but it's just because we've got so much stuff to cover, and I'm actually just going to pick up where Mike left off right in this slide presentation, so bear with me just 1 second. And you should be starting to see my slides. Are you guys seeing my slides now? Yes, okay, great. I'm looking at a different view on camera, so I'm just going to focus on this. But, you know, as Mike went through all that information, it really never ceases to amaze me, the kind of information that Mike has at his fingertips. And whether I'm watching him present on stage, or, you know, whether I'm speaking with him one-on-one or in a small group, his experience and wisdom in crafting these incredible offers, I mean, it really speaks for itself. You see, Mike, and for that matter, both Mike and Andy, have reached a level known as unconscious competence. And basically, there are actually 4 different levels to what we call the learning curve or the competence curve. And what we're going to do is sort of go over these, because when you look at actually the very bottom of the curve, that very bottom level, this is the level known as unconscious incompetence. And this is where you don't even know the things that you don't know about a subject. In this case, it's marketing, but that's not the worst of it, because someone who is unconsciously incompetent will often go so far as to think that there's actually no usefulness in a particular skill. And so they literally don't understand why something is relevant or important. And the most important thing to be aware of is that until that mindset changes, it's not possible for them to advance beyond this stage of learning. And as it relates to the copywriting and offer generating process, I'm sorry to say that the vast majority of marketers are actually operating in this realm. Now, once someone realizes what they don't know, and more importantly, they begin to actually understand the value and importance of that skill, that's when they can then move into the second level, which is referred to as conscious incompetence. And this is why so many successful marketers offer various cheat sheets, or those quick start documents or various frameworks of some kind, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to raise their tribe to the level of conscious incompetence, because it's here that you begin to realize just how valuable this knowledge is. And until you actually understand how valuable the knowledge is, then they can't bring you to the next level, which is the most important phase of all. And this is the third level on the chart, referred to as conscious competence. And, by the way, the process of transitioning your customers from conscious incompetence, the second level, to conscious competence, the third level, is where they'll be willing to pay you. So this is why the third level is even more important than the top level, because it's at this level that a person has the necessary skills and resources and to actually apply the knowledge for themselves. So it's at this level that someone begins to truly understand exactly why it is that most people struggle, while there always seems to be a few people who are constantly getting it right. So if you think about it, your real goal should be not only to get yourself to this level in whatever you're doing, but to identify where it is that you can transition your own customers from level 2 to level 3. So the final and fourth level on this chart is what's known as unconscious competence. And ironically, this is perhaps one of the most dangerous levels, because most people make the mistake of thinking that this is where they need to be before they ever take action, when in fact they and their customers only need to be at level 3. And by the way, I'm not even referring to degrees of success here. You can be just as successful financially, if not even more so, just by getting to level 3. Now, why do you think this is? Well, it's really because you're rooted in the process and following the frameworks to ensure that you're not just operating off memory the way you do in level 4. You're actually going step by step and paying close attention in the manner that you know will yield the best possible results. So you see, unconscious competence is where some people can do it without even thinking about it. That's the fourth and final level there. But the real mistake so many people make is that they think that they need to be at this level before they even do anything at all. But the truth is, all you need to do is get to level 3. And from this point forward, I'm going to show you the way to do just that. So now I think we have a really strong foundation for the importance of these learning levels, but let's get real here. For most people, when it comes to actually setting up their offers, campaigns, and writing their copy, they're standing at this corner. This is what they're looking at most of the time. They are basically lost with nothing but options because they're still stuck in level 2. They know that they need to do something, but they don't actually know how to do it, because the road from this to actually get to here is, is actually, it involves everything that Mike and I have really been talking about up to this point. And so basically what happened as we went through our evolution here, what we at Control Writer, Mitchell, German, and myself, did in working closely with Mike and Andy at Genesis Brands to actually deconstruct their unconscious competence, it ultimately came up with something that was an extremely and comprehensive and powerful resource. And basically what this was the offer control software package. All of the mystery, all of the guesswork as to the actual framework behind a successful offer campaign really has been completely eliminated. I mean, if you can imagine what it would be like to be able to craft the kinds of offers that Mike and Andy do on a regular basis in a matter of hours, that's what achieving level 3 competence can do for you. So back in December, Many of you actually may remember that Mike and Andy had their first Genesis Live event. And on day 3 of this event, which was really just packed with training and content and a lot of transformation, what happened was we brought a few people to the stage to really work on their offer campaigns. And basically what we did is, using the offer control software along with our guidance, what we saw, not unexpectedly, is that a lot of people could actually talk in general terms about their business or their product, but when you actually sit and ask them to cut right to the heart of what it is that their product or service actually solves, the problems or the circumstances, most people can't do it. And they certainly can't do it very well. So what we did is we took about 20 minutes for each of the 3 volunteers, and in just that time, they achieved much greater clarity about what they need to be communicating to their prospective customers. And this entire process actually begins by understanding what Mike started to allude to, which is what we call the core elements. And basically what you can see, these are the core elements of offer control. This is actually a screenshot of the offer control software itself. So let me just blow it up a little bit for you so you can see that a little bit better. And you can see what these are. Now, Mike laid out quite a lot of content here in some detail, so I'm going to be going through this much more quickly just to give you some basics. So what you're basically looking at here is a visual representation of the relationship between your products and services and your prospective customers, whether you realize it or not. And actually, these core elements go even deeper, because not only do they contain the basic information, they show you the entire path to the end point of the final message, where you'll be communicating exactly what you need to in order to really resonate with your prospective customers and fan base. And there's really so much I can cover that goes way beyond this webinar, but as I said, what I do want to do is spend just a few extra minutes just going through these core elements, because they're really important. So if you are taking notes or you're taking screenshots, now is a good time to start snapping them and starting to write these things down. So as we continue to move through here, these are the core elements. The very first at the top of the tree, you've got the product and the consumer. And of course, on the product side, the product, of course, is the specific product or service that you'll be offering your customer base. And the direct relationship that the product has to the consumer is what these core elements are actually extracting. You see, most people, when they're approaching their marketing process, they just sort of go on the path of listing different things, listing features, listing benefits, but what's often missing from the process is that they're not properly working through and identifying the relationship, the critical relationship between these elements. So the consumer, of course, is the specific individuals or groups that you're targeting. Now, next on the tree of elements, you've got the solution and the circumstance. So the solution, of course, is the specific way that your product or service is going to address your prospect circumstance. Excuse me. The circumstance, of course, is the specific problem, need, or desire that your prospect is experiencing. What happens with a lot of people when they're starting to identify their target customers and their prospects is they get trapped in looking only at a particular demographic group, or let's say they're looking for doctors between the ages of 38 and 54 who live in a certain city, and that becomes very limiting. And Mike and Andy talk so well about the importance of understanding your prospect's circumstance, because without understanding that, then you really are just only halfway in the problem that you're ultimately trying to solve. So next, Mike also went into quite a bit of detail on this, the superior feature and superior benefit. Superior feature is the single biggest feature that makes it a totally unique and a better choice than other solutions. What is that single biggest feature? And of course, the superior benefit is what is that single biggest benefit that makes your product or service impossible to question its value. Those are critical, because obviously as you list your features and benefits, ultimately you're going to want to isolate that superior feature and superior benefit, because it's all building towards something. And here you just lay out your features and benefits. Again, features being specific components of your product or service that contribute to the needed solution. And the benefits, of course, are how the specific components benefit the users of your product or service. So again, I'll leave this up just an extra second in case you guys are taking screenshots or some notes. Next on the list, Mike got down in his list also to what we call the ultimate improvement. And this is the primary improvement or positive change that your product or service provides. Because ultimately, you have to understand the path that your prospect or customer is starting at and where they're ultimately going. What is that ultimate improvement that your product is going to fulfill? So that's what that is there. And the promised land, of course, is what the final outcome or experience someone can expect after using your product or service. And when Mike used the proactive example, he alluded to this exactly. It's the benefit of the benefit. It's beyond just the benefit itself, but what is the ultimate promised land? What is the dreamland experience for the customer after using the product or service? Which leads up finally to ultimately what can be the holy grail of your marketing communication, and that is the preeminent distinction. And the preeminent distinction, simply defined, is the single most unique and important factor that allows your product to be the only choice for your marketplace. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this because there is one particular example that I like to share that it really hits this point home, because I'm telling you folks that when you spend the time really getting to what this preeminent distinction is for you, it goes way beyond your USP. It allows you to operate in a land of completely blue ocean. For those of you that may be familiar with the blue ocean strategy and really just charting new waters as opposed to competing in crowded marketplace. When you're going through the process of getting to this preeminent distinction, you have just that. So let me ask you, and I know that we're on a delay with Google, so I'm not waiting for instant feedback here, but if I asked any of you out there listening how many pizza places there are in your local town or your area, how many would you say? I mean, you'd say a bunch, right? Certainly you've got your Pizza Hut, you've got Domino's, and then of course you've got probably the dozens of various local pizza joints that are available in your town. But I want to put this to you a different way. In the Orthodox community of Highland Park, New Jersey, if I were to ask someone in that community, the Orthodox Jewish community, and ask them how many pizza places are there in Highland Park, what do you think their answer is? Only one. Because by decree and religious decree of the town, there is only allowed to be one pizza place available to this Orthodox community in this entire town. And let me tell you something, I've been there at lunch. This is not the cleanest place. It's not the neatest place. They don't have the best sauce, but this place is standing room only at lunchtime. It is always packed. So when you by decree are literally only able to have one pizza joint in your town that your customers can attend and can go to, do you think that that pizza place actually needs to advertise half price for the kiddies on Tuesday? Do you think they need to talk about the best sauce that they're working, or what new special, or that we're the cleanest place or the most popular? They don't need to do any of that, because their preeminent distinction is that they are the only pizza place that can service the Orthodox community in Highland Park, New Jersey. So think about that for your marketing, and when you can get to something even remotely close to that good, then you know you've got something really very special. So the next element in here, we're just back in the software screenshot, you can see we're talking about story. And this story was literally based on this Story Foundation blueprint, which is something that my partner Mitchell German, who's a Hollywood script doctor and expert at Story Foundation, not to mention a roommate for 2.5 years with Mike's partner Andy Jenkins when they were at NYU together. So this is a blueprint that he created specifically for building stories that can be used effectively in your marketing. And again, that's built right there in the software for you. So the next tab over there, you've got the frame. And Mike just had a whole great example. What did you think of Mike's Christopher Walken? How was that? He sort of snuck it in there. He didn't go with it all the way, but he went with it for a little. I always like when we do the voices, but the frame is obviously the elements of the why, the what, the how. And all of these elements are critically important for setting up the basis of your message, and this is the area where you're doing that. The next tab over is your influence tab, and this is where you're basically taking all of the elements that you're using to brainstorm and describe in detail your impact on the marketplace and the influence that you expect to have. So the reason I'm going through this quickly again, folks, is because we don't want to go into the software and just keep moving and show you a bunch of bubbles that are hard to see. We want to give you the snapshots, but I promise you we will show you just a quick demo so at least you get a better flavor for how it actually looks. But after these elements, we move into what we really have as the next phase, which those positioning elements that you had before, that's where you're actually brainstorming and doing the work of setting the foundation for what your offer and what your campaign is going to be. All of those elements that Mike was referring to in what you're thinking about and how you're coming up with that, that's where that section is so critical, is in laying that out. But ultimately, you have to communicate this to your marketplace. And so this is where we move into the communication section, and then here we're teaching, we're transforming, and we're transacting. That language may be very familiar to some of you who may own Video Genesis or who just followed Mike and Andy for quite some time. So on the Teach tab, we're looking at the elements of the hook, which Mike also talked about, the story, which we just reviewed, the circumstance solution, the authority, and of course the reason why. And these elements are all very clearly defined, obviously, within the framework and within the process. In the Transformation tab, the Transform tab, we're looking to define what the personal advantage is. And this personal advantage is something very specific. It's not enough to just say what my prospect is going to experience when using this product or service. I need to talk about how, for me to use this product or service, I have had my own transformation, because that just makes it even that much more powerful. Someone who's literally drinking their own Kool-Aid and using their product. So they've got the personal advantage, what the ownership experience is like, the benefit recap, as well as your ultimate transition to your pitch. And this is, again, really where you're starting to lay out your copy. I do see a couple questions coming in as far as repeating the story. Just make a note that we will be allowing some time for Q&A at the conclusion of this. So happy to review in greater detail any of the elements that we went too quickly over, but it's just we want to make sure we get through all of this so we can send some of you out there overseas home to bed at a somewhat reasonable hour. So that's the Transform tab. And here, last but not least, we've got the Transact, and this is where you're actually defining the elements of your transaction. You're once again framing the goal as to why people are even there in the first place. This really has to do with, look, you're here for a reason. For those of you that have stayed on this webinar for all this time, yes, we certainly hope and appreciate that you're liking the content. You could share it in the chat. Hopefully that part's been valuable for you. But there's obviously a reason why you're even in this space. You're obviously considering something, or you're looking to improve your marketing in certain elements. So the frame the goal section really gets into that in quite a lot of detail. Proof, access opportunities, dream scenario, transaction guarantee. Again, folks, if you can, take screenshots of this or take notes. That way you won't lose what these are. We're happy to explain them in more detail in some Q&A. So what I want to do right now is we had asked my partner Mitchell to just record a very quick 90-second demo. And basically this is just going to be a very quick walkthrough of the actual software itself. So I'm going to play this, and then when we get back, we will probably take it back real quickly. But let me just play this very quickly. I'm going to turn my volume way up. Please make notes in the chat if you have any difficulty hearing this. But here we go.
Hi, it's Mitchell with Control Writer Software. I've been asked to give a 90-second demo of the software. Where so get
yeah. Sorry, folks. I got my screen just froze up on me, so I'm going to start this over.
Where so given the time.
All right. Let's take two on that.
Hi, it's Mitchell German with Control Writer Software. I've been asked to give a 90-second demo of the software. So given the time constraint, I want to get started right away. So you can see the icon for the software is on my desktop. I'm on a Windows computer. The software works on Macs and Windows. I believe it's Mac 10.5, 10.6 and beyond, and Windows 97 and beyond it will work on. When I launch the software, the first screen I come to is this one you're looking at here, where you can create a new project or open an existing project. This button over here jumps me over to open existing projects. You can see the number of projects I have currently on my system, and there's really no limit to the number of projects you can have with the Control Writer. software using offer control. But let's go ahead and create a new one for this. We'll call this webinar example. And I'll create that. And right away, I'm thrown into the core elements tab where I can start to build and brainstorm my project. Along the top, you can see are the tabs that have been reviewed. You have the core elements: story, frame, influence, teach, transform, and transact. And just clicking on the tabs takes me from one tab to the next, one section to the next. It's really that simple. If I want to add bubbles and build out my content, I simply click on these arrows, and I can add information into my document. I can obviously put notes here, more information here, more info here. And of course, dragging and dropping is very simple. I can simply move things around and drag them anywhere I want these bubbles to be. Now, occasionally we hear people make a comment about this being really just a mind map software, and it would be a mistake to think of this as a mind map software. This is much more than a mind map software. This is a highly structured brainstorming, outline, and document building program. Finally is the outline tab. You simply jump on this tab and it generates an entire outline of your entire document, your entire outline, your entire brainstorm for you to obviously save, export, and work with as you wish. I think that should just about do it for the 90 seconds if I haven't gone over yet. So this one I'll pass you back over to Sean and Mike.
Okay. So just getting back here. I apologize, folks. My screen was freezing up on me again. Okay, so you should be seeing this now. So, you know, we had an opportunity. You know, we had some early users. This is still a software that is in pre-release along with the program, but you know, we had an opportunity to work with a few people. They had a chance to use the software. You know, real quick, Dave Smith is someone that Mike, Andy, Mitchell, and I. That's Dave over here. You know, he actually came over for a full power day following the Genesis Live event, and we had a chance to go through the software and actually really break down his business and start to put some of these elements together. His thoughts. Offer Control is a wonderful program that puts us directly in line for what we need to do with our target market. Rick also joined Dave on that same day. He says going through Offer Control and defining so many different things about what we're going to use in our videos. This was something that he really enjoyed doing. Another client, I'm really enjoying the software. The visual aspect of our outlining really speaks to me. And finally, a client actually from the film industry, Jared Wynn over at Inktip, he said, I feel like a week's worth of progress was made in an hour this morning. That's a very satisfying feeling, and it's a very satisfying feeling anytime you get to hear good feedback, because you know what we care most about, of course, is that people are actually understanding it, they're getting to use it, and most importantly, they're getting results. So, Mike.
We're going to show you how you can get access to this software and some training that Andy and I did on creating offers, and then the software allows you to take that stuff and what we say create a no-fail offer. So I'm going to stand up, look over to this camera here, and I'm going to take the PowerPoint presentation over from Sean where he left off in these testimonials. Okay, so we can go straight to the feed of the PowerPoint here. So guys, right at the hour mark, stick around because we're going to be doing some Q&A in just about 5 minutes, but here's the exciting part. We're going to let you get access to the Offer Control software. We've been doing some testing with this, and we're doing a special offer today. Now, we actually are going to be contacting some of our clients that have this software and letting them know about this special. So here's something that you can get access to for the next 24 hours at a very special price. When we go public, the price will be about 5 times higher than this, than what you're seeing on the webinar. And believe it or not, what you guys are actually part of today is us testing our ability to communicate the message with the market and a price point. This is the lowest price point that we will ever offer for what you're about to see. So here's how you get access to the Offer Control software. Number one, other than just the software, you're going to get access to the Genesis Live training on creating offers. So Andy and I did a live event in here in San Diego on December 8th, 9th, and 10th last year, or actually 6th, 7th, and 8th, and we spent a full day going over how to create offers. And we also had some great case studies where we brought some people up that had failing sales letters, and we showed them how they can take the elements that we have in creating an offer using the software. And as you saw some of the testimonials that these people had by just using the software and answering the questions, we would tell them, fill out this tab, help them go through the process, and what they got were some amazing results to go back and change their offer and increase their conversions. So this training, I don't know the exact amount of it. I would say it's about 6 hours of training. What I was able to do is give you 30 minutes of a broad scope, but we really drill down into everything, going straight into things that have to do with how to create the offer once you get to the bullet points and the guarantee. I mean, every single thing in creating a winning offer. And if it was just this, in my opinion, would be worth $497 if it was just this content as a home study course, or even $997. I know the content that we created, I think it's some of the best stuff. That's why I can tell you copywriting is worthless. Copywriting is about your features, your bullets, and your supporting parts of that. But knowing how to create the offer that pre-frames that is the key, and that's what we plan to show you. So here's the offer control package. So you're going to get the software, okay? The value of $297. The Genesis Live offer training, the full 6 hours of training, that's a value $397. Okay, and here are some bonuses that you get only from being on this webinar. You're going to get 2 90-minute live quick start sessions with Sean, Mitch, and myself, and possibly Andy, or Andy and by himself without me, but we're going to try to both make it. But if anything, you'll be getting guaranteed Mitch and Sean, and either myself and Andy, or both. We will definitely be on those 2 90-minute live sessions. What that means is you're going to get to be able to get consulting from us based on some of the products that you have that you're trying to work with. We're going to find out which one of you guys wants to be able to submit your products for a review, and we'll do live hot seats with you. You will also get 2 additional offer control licenses. That's a $97 value each. And we have a little problem reading that there. A 1-year unlimited tech support, $59 value. Total value, $1,141. As you can see, we didn't stack this up to go up to $25,000. These are legitimate values, very, very close to a $997 home study course. Here's what you can get access to this for today. Your investment today, one-time price, $297. Never pay anything again. You're going to get access to the preliminary part of what is going to become Offer Genesis, which starts with that content that was created at the event. And you will also get access to the software that, again, we didn't get to highlight the entire software. Mitch showed you basically a quick demo of it in the video, but this is a software that takes you through every single element of an offer. And you could start anywhere, and once you're done filling out the bubbles, as opposed to a mind map you don't really know where to go. This software, if you can go back onto Me Sassy, this software allows you to take our recipe for creating no-fail offers, what we've done time and time and time again for ourselves and the people that we consult with, and say, no, you're not in this market, you're in this market. This is how you need to communicate to the customer. This framework is based on our successful method. Sean said unconscious competence. They came to us, they wanted to reverse engineer everything we did in our multiple versions of our sales letters for Video Genesis, Genesis Labs, and Webinar Jam. And we put it into a software that allows you to go into that framework, start anywhere. You want to start with the guarantee, then you want to move into your story, then you want to go to the core elements, then you want to go to the teach, the transformation, all these different things. You fill out those bubbles, you hit a button, and it gives you an entire outline that becomes a structure for your sales letter, or your video sales letter, or your live webinar, or your automated webinar. This will come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now, here's the deal, guys. $297. I guarantee if you have a good selling offer, it will be great. What is that going to be worth to you with the number of visitors that are coming to your website over the years, and your upsells over the years, and your multiple products over the years? You can't put a value on that, but I can assure you it's more than $297 that you'll be making if you, if you use our structure within the software to create a no-fail offer. You got 30 days to go through the training, try out the software. And our guarantee is that it's going to help you, not just with your one product, but your next webinar you use, your next automated webinar, your upsells, the many different products that you come up with. Sorry, folks, that's what happens when you get a tickle. The many different products that you'll come up with over the years. The softwares that you might come up with over the years, whatever the case is. And it doesn't have to create a 30-minute sales letter. Sometimes the software can help you create a message for a 90-second webinar registration form. We use it. Now, everything we do, we go into the software and we say, what is the pain? What is the benefit? What is the benefit of that benefit, or the special benefit there? And what is our preeminent distinction? What is our level 1 customer? What are we teaching them? And by doing that, how do we transform them? And then how do we transition into the close? And we have a template to never fail when creating an offer. So if you have a product and it's not doing well and you want to go from not doing good to selling very, very well, or if you have a product that's doing okay, but you want to go great, you want to do what the leaders in the industry are doing, you need to get access to our training and the software, and we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So now, Mitch and Sean, if you can give them a link to get access to that, to the package, guys, we're going to push a little button, correct, Mitch? I'm just going to put my headphones on. Sean, Mitch, if you're there, if you can give me feedback on that button getting pushed. We're good. So you guys all have access to the order page. This is expiring soon. We will be going out to the public at a price about 3 to 5 times higher than this. You're getting access to a non-beta software. This is a proven software. We will continue to update it. We will give you tech support. This is a desktop-based software. You can install it on many devices because you log in on many devices. We're going to give you 2 additional licenses. You're going to get 2 90-minute consultations with Mitch and Sean and myself or Andy, guaranteed to have one of us on there along with Mitch and Sean, the creators of the software, and we're the creators of the core structure and elements that drive the software. So, Sean, I'm going to turn it back over to you for Q&A, and if you're still here and you've got some questions, we're going to open up the chat box now so that you can ask us questions, and we will answer those questions for you live. And we will restate the offer, and you want to make sure you get access to this package while you're on this webinar, because once we're done, the offer goes away forever, and you will see something become as successful as you saw with Webinar Jam. You will see something when we market this in an incredible launch coming up, and you don't want to be in a position where you say, oh man, I remember being on that webinar and I had an opportunity to get it for $297 and now it's looking like $1,000. So I'm going to put my little headset in here, Sean, so I can hear you.
So folks, the one thing I just want to emphasize again about the training session, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm seeing a few questions come across the chat basically asking about the learning curve. And the reason that we stuck these sessions in is because we wanted to make sure that this learning curve got shortened significantly. And even one step beyond that, we wanted to make sure that when you're sitting there to approach your offer the right way and really get started with the right framework, again, jumping right into that level 3 competency and having the reference and knowledge to be able to apply this to your process, we wanted to make sure that you had the best possible help that you can provide. So on these sessions, we're going to be going into detail with one or more of you throughout these sessions, probably a bunch of people on each session taking questions, really making it very interactive and making sure that as we're going along and training through each of the processes, that you have a chance to start filling in the elements of your software, because if you can't use it effectively, then all of us are just spinning our wheels here. So we want to do everything we can to make sure that happens. Mike, I just, in the interest of people who are interested in taking advantage, I'm getting a slew of questions about payment plans and multiple payments.
Here's what we're going to do. I don't want to give anybody anything less than we promised. So here's what we're going to do. Anybody that buys with the 3 payments of $297, we're going to give them the exact offer they saw here. Sean, and anybody that pays in full today, we'll give them 3 sessions. How's that? Pay in full, we're going to go from 2 live 90-minute sessions to 3 live 90-minute sessions. And if you go with the payment plan, you get the 2 that we promised you. So I think that's fair. All right. So both of those plans come with a money-back guarantee as well. Mitch will change the page to have both payments on there. $297, pay in full. We're going to bonus you to 3 live sessions. And Guys, people pay Andy Jenkins $2,500 a month to get a 1-hour session with him. My prices are the same. You're going to get 3 sessions with us as part of this bonus. So that's some pretty good bonus value right there if you pay in full, and 2 if you take the payment option. So let's get back to the questions.
Payment option is now available.
Here.
Payment option is now available.
Payment option is now available. Okay.
Refresh the checkout page.
Okay, so let me see if we can tackle some of these questions. So real quick, Kirk says, what are the export options? Text, Word, looks like this is a type of HTML for other outliners. Kirk, the answer is in the current version of the software, you can export to either text or to an HTML file. And then, of course, you can import that into any number of different programs. Those are the current versions that are available as far as export options. Jonathan says, let's see, okay. Mike, great product and see myself using this. I won't have the funds for another 3 or 4. I won't. I won't.
Guys, if you have payment plan support, Dave, what do we do? Where do we tell them to go? Support@marketinggenesis.com? Is that the best way? Guys, if you have any questions about payment plans, or you're getting paid on Friday and you want to get access, and the sale is for today only, get your ticket in today at support. Send an email to support@marketinggenesis. We can't guarantee that you're going to get the same deal if you don't buy today, but we'll do our best. So just send an email to support@marketinggenesis if you have any questions. If your PayPal account's not working, your credit card just got declined, we understand those things. Go to support@marketinggenesis.com and we will assist you. Also, keep in mind, just to clarify, somebody had a question. What do you mean by the live sessions? You're going to be doing the live sessions with everyone that buys. Now, believe it or not, we expect about 30 or 40 people to buy, and we expect about a third to 25% of those people to show up for the live sessions. The rest will get it in replay. So that means you're going to be in the Hangout with us, and if you get there early, we can fit 10 people. Our goal is to have every single one of you live in the Hangout with us with your little picture there, and anybody else that can't get there live is going to watch it as you're watching this happen right now. So it's going to be a very intimate session, and we expect all of you to be able to be there live with us. We're going to be contacting you so that we can maybe hot seat some of you and start helping you into the software. Okay, so it's not live one-on-one. Now, somebody else had a question. A long-winded question about, I'm curious about, are there any OTOs in the previous decade? I bought multiple thousands of dollars of online marketing programs. In one case, the upsell tells you that the course is not going to work unless you buy the upsell. I can't stand that stuff. That's horrible. Now, there is one upsell with this. What is the upsell? It's very simple, guys. You'll see when you buy it. It's $2,000, and it's a done-for-you program that includes one-on-one consulting. So there is nothing here that says you need this upsell to make it work. I personally don't believe that you need the one-on-one consulting if you're willing to put the time in. There are many people in this world that understand speed to market, and they have a little more affordability, and they're like, yes, this is great, but here's the deal. Can you build it out for me? Now, if you're that type of person that wants to get the consulting and wants a done-for-you service where we actually go through it and build out your sales letter for you, you can hire a copywriter for $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $25,000, or you can take the upsell for $2,000 and we help you. I think that's a fair assessment of the time that goes in. So it's a done-for-you program. It's nothing that says if you want to maximize this software. It simply says, hey, we understand some people like time and like to pay for services. Some people want to go figure out how to do the stocks themselves, and some people say, yeah, I can figure out how the stock market works, but I'd rather just let you invest my money. It's one of those types of things. Sean, did you see any other questions that you wanted to answer here?
Yeah, I just sort of on that same note, Mike, because I don't want, what I don't want to happen here, everyone, is I don't want to minimize the value of the training sessions that are included as part of this. Although it's not literally a private consult with the 3 of us, what we're going to be doing.
And when we say the 3 of us, it could be the 4 of us. It's always going to be Sean and Mitch. It'll always be 3 people, or maybe 4. It'll be Sean and Mitch and Mike, or Sean and Mitch and Andy, or Sean, Mitch, Andy, and Mike. That's the guarantee. It'll always be Sean, Mitch, and Andy, or Sean, Mitch, and Mike, and it might be the 4 of us. So it is not one-on-one, but it is a session where you will all be in a hangout with us, hopefully. And if we have more than 10 people, 3 of us and then the other 7, then yes, you'll be watching live, and then you'll be asking your questions in the chat as you're seeing now.
So yeah, so it's, and again, as we're, what we're going to be doing on that is we're actually going to be going through and working through the process as if it was a one-on-one, because we're going to have people that are essentially up there on that hot seat, and we're going to be doing just like we did at that Genesis Live event, which you'll see in the training. We went through and we really extracted from them what they needed to be able to communicate with their audience, to really dial it in. So the people who are even not in that hot seat, we're going to be making sure it's going to be paced so that you're able to follow along and make sure that you get the training. The jump start, quick start into this software is the primary goal here, because beyond those training sessions, not only will you be able to see them again in the future in replay, but we want you to be able to return to this as a tool that you can use over and over again. It's not enough to just paint it out there and hope that you get it. We want to make sure that you understand how to use it. So
Sassy, do me a favor. Let's go back to the slides. I'm going to restate the offer right now. Linnell says, I was on another call and missed all of this call up until about 20 minutes ago when we started the Q&A. What is it that you're offering? Can you sum it up in 2 or 3 sentences? So here's what we're offering. The Control Writer software, based on the training that we showed at the beginning of this webinar, is the way that Andy and I create offers. And we want to tell you that copywriting is worthless. Copywriting is simply the text that fills your features and benefits. And of course there's good copywriting, and it's important, but good copywriters know that you create an offer and a frame and positioning, and then everything else is just a format that goes down right to the order page. Okay, so Andy and I did an event called Marketing Genesis Live. It was December 6th, 7th, and 8th just recently, and the very first day we did an entire training session, 6 hours, on creating offers. Now, if you missed part of that in the presentation, you'll have to wait for the replay. But what you're getting is a software that Mitch was just demonstrating, which you saw, which is based on the foundations of how we create our offers. Mitch and Sean helped us take what we were unconsciously competent at, what comes natural to us, and break it out into a core framework. Instead of just saying, here's a mind map and go fill out these bubbles, this is a structured mind map type of software that allows you to start anywhere where you're comfortable, and when you're done filling out all the bubbles, you hit the outline, and that produces something that you could use for your sales letter or your video sales letter or your webinar or your automated webinar or your stage presentation. And the price of that training and the software, plus the bonuses of 3 90-minute sessions if you pay in full and 2 if you take the payment plan, is one-time price of $297. You will see this selling later for about $1,000, okay? And it won't have the live sessions either. And comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, and there's a button where you can get that. And right now we're doing the Q&A, so we'll go back to our live faces here. Looking at more questions.
Right. So
how do we know what goes in the boxes? Is that in the video training that it comes with? Mitch, Sean, why don't you answer that?
Yes. So again, Mike has sort of been alluding to. Mike has been alluding to that as far as the quick start training in those sessions. There is also help training.
And if you don't make it, we're going to have replays of those sessions. If you don't make it, so
correct.
You have to make it to be able to understand how to use that.
Right. There's also help training session, help elements that are within the software. And the one thing, I'll just sort of mix a couple of answers to questions here. There are some people, first and foremost, that are asking, is this a multiple billing? Is this a recurring payment? Or it's one time? No, this is a one-time price. This is not a software as a service model here. This is the gift of one price and one price only. And you have lifetime access to the software. What we're going to be doing is pushing regular updates to the software as well, between additional video training, help, members areas. So you're going to get, basically as it evolves, you're going to continue to see that evolution within the software. But right
Guys,
now,
this is what we call an irresistible offer. We don't want to confuse anything here and make it more than what it is. You're getting 6 hours of training from myself and Andy Jenkins on the very best thing that we do: create multi-million-dollar offers. Over and over and over again. You look at Webinar Jam. There are many other products out on the market. We did an internal launch, haven't brought it live to the entire market other than what we did, and it generated $800,000 in sales since December. And I can assure you that it's not the software itself. It was our ability to communicate that with the market. And the reason I can tell you that is there are other softwares out in the market that weren't able to do what we do. We've done it with our continuity program. with Video Genesis. We're going to continue to do it again with Offer Genesis when this sells for about $1,000. We're going to be able to do it with Traffic Genesis, different products that we're coming out with. We don't fail. So it's a very simple offer. It's an irresistible offer. You're going to learn from myself and Andy Jenkins. We think we're among the best in the industry. We are surrounded by renegades out there, like the other best in the industry. Ryan Dice, Perry Belcher, Frank Kern, Jeff Walker, Jeff Johnson, Eben Pagan. These guys are in our circle of influence. We know what we're doing. We communicate with each other. We're on the cutting edge of creating offers. There's so much that goes into it. It's hard to just go over that in the 30-minute presentation that I have. So you're going to get 6 hours of training on that. You're going to get the software. You're going to be able to use it on every product, every webinar, every software, everything you ever create for the rest of your life. You're going to get to learn from us and apply it in the software for $297. One time, that's it. Not annual, nothing. 30-day money-back guarantee. That's an irresistible offer. If you're thinking about it, that's okay. You can get it now or pay more later or never get it again. We understand that. That's cool. There's so many different products out there to help you in your business. What we wanted to do was give you something that's out of our core competency, something that we're very, very good at. Take the time, create the mind maps, train you where you can take the notes, understand it, put it into a software, and then get on live with you to help you use it for $300.
Right.
And if you have a business, or you will have a business, and you want to take it from good to great, or from struggling to very, very good, well, as I told you before, any good offer can sell anything, good product or bad. So when you take a good offer and combine it with a good product, you're unbeatable. And that's what we want to help you with. And if we can't do that for you, you get your money back. It's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So it's not a complicated offer. I think some of the questions that you guys are saying is there an annual plan? Is there an upsell? Am I going to get, is there more that you want to sell me? What's the agenda? No. We have a product. We're testing the price. We're testing our offer. We are giving you the guaranteed lowest price that this will ever be as we're testing our core message before we roll it out to the market. This is smart marketing. And we offer the best price. And we are stacking the bonuses to make it good for you. So where did you hear payment plan? Well, it's called a payment option. If you don't want to pay in full, take the 3 payments of $99. It's the same price. And the offer is virtually identical. Instead of getting 3 live sessions with us where you're communicating with us with the other people that bought the software, you get 2 when you take the payment plan. So that I think explains it. We created an irresistible offer for you for great training and software. Software doesn't come cheap. This is based on our methods that you get to fill out the bubbles, hit an outline, and you're ready to go. Any other questions, Sean?
I'm just trying to run. I mean, there's a bunch of different ones. Mike really summed it up pretty beautifully there, and you alluded to one of the things. The other thing that for some are asking about the differences between the private consult and what's going to be covered. The other thing people perceive about the private attention is it's just access. At the end of the day, Dan Kennedy says it all the time. Anything you ever want to learn about what I do, just watch what I do, or read it in one of my books. Pay $20. You'll learn just about everything. But as you go through the different levels of pricing, obviously the depth and the detail of the information that you cover, coupled with the level of access and time and relationship that you have, that's really where the elevated price comes in. So at the end of the day, the most important takeaway is that in order to be able to achieve what we promise, which is that level 3 competency, basically extracting that unconscious competence and putting it into a form and a resource so that you can go tomorrow and start working through your offers based on this framework, you don't need to pay $2,000 to do that. Everything is going to be there for you as part of the base offer. For those of you that sometimes just prefer to write a check, you have the ability to do it. Again, it's not for everybody by any means, but you want that access, you want that extra private time and private review of your campaign. That's what that's going to be.
That's one-on-one consulting, and that doesn't come cheap.
Exactly.
In fact, between me, you, and the lamppost, I disagreed with Sean and Mitch on the price for $19.97. I said for that time it should be $5,000, but they wanted to go with $19.97, and I think that is over-delivering. I think that's great. So that's your end of the deal that's better there, I think, to be able to get one-on-one consulting on your own product and a done-for-you service. So, Sean, we have some questions here. Mike, can you please go through some ideas for what you think are the who, why, and where for a car loan business, Richard, we'll be happy to do that when you buy the product. And I know that's a tongue-in-cheek thing there, but that is something that we will do for the paid customers. If you've got the product, pay $297, get the training, get the software, get our mental intellectual property going over your stuff live in front of everybody else, helping you fill out those bubbles. And if it doesn't work for you, then get all that training in your memory, keep it forever, get the free consulting that you got on that call, and get your money back if it didn't work for you. But I will invite you to dive in. We're talking about 3 payments of $99 or 1 payment of $297 to learn from the best. We'll get on live with you, and we're going to give you a software based around the framework.
Mike, if
Julie,
I could...
so does the software just provide the outline and blanks, or are there guidelines and questions? Good question. The software itself does just provide the outline and the blanks, and you fill it in. But for you to be able to understand how that works, the training that we did at the event was based on this, and we're going to be doing live training sessions going over every tab in the software where you can be there live to learn, and if you can't make it, it's archived so that you can get it at a later date, so we can provide content on how to fill out those bubbles. All
so
right?
Mike, if I could just jump in here real quick. There's a couple questions right along that, and I hate to correct Mike on air, but for your benefit, Julie, there is definitely help within the software. It's not just, hey, if you don't have access to the video and the training, you don't know what to do. There is very much guided software, and there is going to be, as the software continues to be pushed out to you with updates, you will also ultimately receive some video training that goes directly with it. It is, and I'm also going to tie this in with some other questions because there's a couple people that are still, and I know Mitch in his demo video, which I think we had some audio problems, so you may not have heard, but people ask all the time, to think of this as just a mind mapping software. And in fact, someone asked, what features does this program have besides the mind mapping and outlining? At the end of the day, as powerful a program as, let's say, a MindJet, which Mike and Andy use often, every time they open up that program, what do you think happens? They are loading up a blank mind map, and they are starting from scratch. All their brainstorming, all their development has to come from literally moment one of trying to go through that. So the difference between this software is that it is a brainstorming, outlining, and document building software that is based on a very specific framework. It really gives you all of the freedom, the creative freedom of working with a mind map, so you can lay it out visually and start anywhere, but you also have the added benefit of that structured framework. And that is a really key distinction. You're not going to find this framework, or for that matter, anything that Mike and Andy train on, within a typical mind map software. So
we're going to be wrapping this up in about 10 minutes. So you want to be able to click that link and get that page loaded so you can get access today, because the price will be higher at a later date. This is an exclusive offer with exclusive bonuses for this webinar. Tara asks, I just got it back on. I'm just starting out, learning how to do sales funnels and sales pages. Am I correct to buy your software, or is it too soon? I think this is the perfect time, Tara, to buy the software, because it comes with training. And you could learn from the best in the industry that are surrounded by the best in the industry. And it's going to give you an opportunity to learn before you make any mistakes. And you're going to get live training with us. You'll be able to go through the live training, use the software, get the training that Andy and I did at the event with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So only you'll know if the decision was right for you after you learn. And here's the great thing about a 30-day no-risk money-back guarantee. The risk is on us. You get to get our time, and you get to get our training, which you never have to give up. And you'll have that training with you forever, even if you decide later that this wasn't for you. The only question is if it's in your budget. And if it's in your budget and you're going to be a marketer, I invite you to learn from the best. So yes, you are correct to buy the software. Next question here. After the information is in this program, what does the software do? Does it create a Word text document? Yes, it creates a text document. I'm going to move over to Mitch right now and highlight him. Mitch, can you hit the outline view for them?
Sure. Let me. Yeah. So you just jump over the outline view. It generates the entire structure of this document now. Core element, story frame. Every single one of these tabs now gets summarized and brought into this outline. And then basically you can export this as just a a text document or an HTML, so it maintains the formatting, and then all you have to do is literally cut and paste that into your Microsoft Word or any other Word document editor you want to use to refine the text if you want to do that. The truth is, you could do a lot of the refining of your copywriting right inside this software. I know that when me and Sean sit down to even discuss any options for the software or different markets we're going to go into, we literally open up this software, Offer Control, and we go right into the core elements. We just literally start brainstorming right there, and then we've gone through the entire software to the point where the Teach, Transform, and Transact tabs has our video script already written. So when we export it to Word, it's basically a fully written script and a little bit of formatting, getting it more the way we want it to look when we're ready to actually do the recordings and whatnot.
All right, so there's a couple, Mike, I'm just going to try to grab a few of these questions quickly. Let's see, Sharon, you answered. So to Mitch's...
let me, Sean, just before you go to that question, I just want to just mention about the export and the outline. So we made the software so it gives you flexibility. The software doesn't create an outline that then goes and builds your optimized press sales page or your upsell, or creates a PowerPoint slide and designs your slides and pulls in the images. It's not meant to do that. It's not meant to create your webinar for you or your stage presentation. We don't know what type of webinar theme that you want for your PowerPoint slides, if you want gray background. So it doesn't do that. What it does is it gives you the core outline that allows you to say, this is going to go into a video sales letter. This is going to be my script for a teleprompter. This is going to be used for my landing page or my webinar or my stage presentation or whatever the case may be. So what we're looking to do is help you craft that message and then put it in order so that when you go to create your PowerPoint slides or your video sales letter, you have a structure to follow. So we made it as simple as possible without complicating it. There you go.
A very important question that came in. If we buy today, do we get immediate access? Yes. Richard, you will have immediate access. Well, I hesitate to use the word immediate online, but yes, within minutes you will have a download link and confirmation of your purchase and information on downloading the software and installing it, and you will be able to open up and start playing with it right away.
Guys, we are down to our last 3 minutes. So this webinar jam session is going to be ending very, very soon, trying to answer as many of your questions as we can. If we can't answer your questions and you understand what we're offering, training from Mike Filsame and Andy Jenkins, future live training from Mitch and Sean and either myself or Andy, guaranteed, or both. If you do the payment plan, you get 2 sessions with us. And if you do the pay in full, you get 3. Either way, you get access to all of the archives of those trainings, plus the trainings that we did at the live event, plus the software, for a one-time price of $297 for a product that will sell later for about $1,000. It is an irresistible offer. If you have a product or you ever will create a product, this is something that will help you in your business. We guarantee it. We guarantee that it will help you with not just your current product, but your future products. Every webinar that you ever do, if you're ever going to speak on stage, if you want to create a video, if you're an author or a speaker or creating software, it doesn't matter. We're here to help you understand why so many marketers have a great product and can't sell it. And as we said, a great offer sells bad products. So what is it about your product that isn't working? It's not that you didn't create a good product. You and I both know you did. It's that understanding how to create a no-fail offer, an offer that wins every time, comes from knowing these things. Sean and Mitch spent countless hours, made 4 trips here to San Diego from the East Coast, spent weeks with us going through our different launches and pulling out something that was unconsciously competent to us and putting it into a framework that now anybody can plug in. And the reason why I say we guarantee that it will help you with your business, the guarantee is that if it doesn't work for you and you don't think this is for you, you get your money back. So we understand you have a lot of questions. We believe that these questions will be answered when you buy the product with getting access to the software and playing around with it, getting access to the training, and then getting the other live training with us where you can ask all these questions in an intimate environment. And if it's not everything that we said it would be, or it doesn't work for you the way that you need it to work in your business, you get your money back. We don't want your money. Obviously, if you're not happy with the product, we're Mike Filsame, Andy Jenkins, Sean Wander, and Mitch German. We have our online businesses, our reputations. and we don't want the money of somebody that we couldn't help. But we're confident enough to go out and create the content and do live events and create the stuff and teach what works in our business, and then have a software designed to help you do it better, than rather than saying, take what we just gave you and go write a Word document or post a mind map. We're giving you a structure. $297. We know you have a lot of questions. We've been here for 2 hours. We have to respect that. It's 10 o'clock on the East Coast, probably 5 a.m. in the UK, and who knows, people probably had to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to see this somewhere in Asia Pacific. And we appreciate that. After 2 hours, all we can do is thank you for coming in and getting the free training. If that's all that you got today, and you made it here early and you got the free training that I did on creating offers, and if that's all you did, we want to thank you. Those of you that want to go further with us, our current customers and now our new customers that are joining, there's a link inside of your room and a button that'll allow you to get access for 3 payments of $99 or 1 payment of $297. We will answer all of your questions from this point forward after you buy the product. It's time for us to get going. I'm going to turn it over to Sean and Mitch to say their final goodbyes, but the moment of truth has come. You can decide if you're going to be a marketer in this business and you want to learn from us on the time that we put into the training and had software developed to help you apply the training for $300. It's only for you to decide if you'll get a return on that investment without the risk of having to know that you can't get your money back, because we've eliminated that risk with our 30-day money-back guarantee. So all that information is going away within the next 90 seconds. Make sure you click that button. Have that page ready. Make sure to buy it before this offer expires, because we did our very, very best to help you in your business by making sure that price wasn't an objection. And we understand you have questions, and that's why we're going to be there for you with those live sessions. So click that button, save that page, so you have an opportunity to go through and buy it today before the offer expires. We want to thank you very much. We're very, very proud of the content and the software, and that's why we're very, very excited to ask you to become a customer, and we promise that we'll deliver for you to help you with your business. Thanks very much. We want to thank Sassy, Dave, Donna, Sean, and Mitch for making this jam session work, and hope to see you as a customer. We are out. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.